Hello everyone, welcome to a new chess video. Today, I'm going to teach you an opening where just by memorizing 3 simple moves, you'll be able to win most of your games. It sounds surreal, but now you're going to see that it's totally possible. By the way, what's with this beautiful background, chess teacher, and this board? What's going on here? Why is everything so beautiful today? Because since the trap and the moves are so beautiful, today we had to have a special background. First of all, let me give you some context. I'm sure you all know the fried liver attack. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, bishop C4, Italian opening, and in the two knights defense, we perform the fried liver attack. Well, it's a fun attack. Fun attack, an attack that can give good results, yes. But on this channel, I've taught you how to punish it in a pretty drastic way. So we're not going to look at the fried liver attack. But now you'll understand why I'm showing you, the fried liver attack. We're going to move from the king side to the queen side, and we're going to start with the d4 pawn. By the way, let's do one thing. Let's try to reach 500 likes on this awesome video. Since you just have to sit at home on your couch and watch the finished video, while I have to work hard on all of this for all of you. So I work hard and you give me a big thumbs up, and that makes me want to keep recording daily videos. Just that. Let's continue. We played d4, the queen's pawn. And after the double queen's pawn, we're simply going to play as if it were an Italian, but on the other side. You see it, right? As if we had played knight f3. So we can play knight c3. It's also possible to play it in reverse order. You'll see that in a moment. For example, knight f6, and now we played a bishop here. When I say reverse order, it's that you could have played the bishop first if you wanted, and then the knight. It doesn't matter. Where am I going with all this? Notice that we're in an Italian opening, but on the other side, right? So a very natural move here could be knight c6, which would already practically lose the game. Why? Because now the fried liver attack on the queen side is much more effective. Look at this move here. The knight and the bishop are allies and work together to come and attack this c7 square. A very weak spy. Why? Because we're now threatening this knight jump. Knight takes c7, check. And not only that, but we'd take the rook. Notice that this square is only defended by the queen, and she couldn't capture, since we have this bishop here. That's why this move is so strong. They can't kick out our knight, because we'd capture right here. If I ask you, what's the only move that can prevent us from entering here with these two pieces? I'm sure you're all thinking of the same one. The move that can prevent this is the move e5. And, well, how should we react to this right here? How should we react if they play e5 against us? Very simple. The only thing we have to do is capture this pawn, okay? We're threatening this knight, and we have an extra pawn. It'd be practically mandatory to take this pawn right here. But the thing is, if they take this pawn, they're losing the knight. Therefore, it would be a terrible move. So they must move this knight, right? They're down a pawn. They've given it away. Look closely, okay? There's no other move here to defend this double attack other than e5. And by taking here, they've given away the pawn, because they can't recapture or they'd lose a piece. So they must move this knight away. Where? It doesn't matter to us at all. No matter where they move it, we're going to win the game. For example, let's assume they move it to this square right here. Then, here comes the star move, which is none other than queen takes pawn. Queen takes pawn, chess teacher? Are you going crazy? If they can capture this queen, you're giving the queen away. Yes, I've gone crazy, but this works because even if they capture our queen, we have this triple attack with the knight, we attack the king, we attack the rook, and we attack the queen, most importantly. And we'll do the count in a moment. They must move the king, we capture the queen, and notice one thing, we've both captured the queen, right? Look, I'll leave it right here. Yes, but the thing is, now we have 3 extra pawns. How incredible. And that's it, chess teacher? Is this all? Well, if you think this is all, you know me very poorly. We've seen that when playing d4, they play d5, but the most used move against d4 is knight f6, as it's the most flexible move. In fact, it's the move I recommend against d4, although d5 isn't far behind. But careful, this isn't the important part. Let's get to the important part. We play knight c3, and with this, what do we threaten? Well, we threaten to take the whole center with these two very, very powerful pawns. That's why they should play d5 now. If they don't, well, we take the whole center. The correct move, d5, and we're going to play, of course, this move right here. Why do we win in 3 moves with this opening? Because we simply have to memorize these 3 moves: the pawn, the knight, and the bishop. Everything else is about understanding. You don't have to memorize any more moves other than these 3. And now you're going to be amazed at how this continues, because we've seen that if they played a knight here, everything was very easy. This attack was a breeze. And in fact, they'll play it against you on many occasions, believe me. But, well, what happens if they play in a much better way, right? The black pieces, if they play, for example, e6, a super traditional setup, then we're simply going to play e3, leaving space for our bishop. We can develop the knight. A very, very normal setup. The only thing that changes from the London is that this pawn would be here and this knight would be here. From the normal London, I mean. This is the JOBAVA London, if I remember correctly, with the knight on c3. Now the same thing, right? If they come here, they're falling into the same trap. That's why, well, we lose this tempo, quote unquote, gaining development, and on top of that, we tell them again, if you bring out the knight, I'll destroy you. So here it's very likely that instead of bringing out the knight, they'll keep playing correctly, playing with c5. Notice one thing, this is the most traditional setup for playing against the queen's pawn, right? c5, why? Because if we capture now, we recapture with the bishop. But here, what are we simply going to do? We're going to jump in with the knight, and they're in trouble again. Look at that, huh? Only 2 pieces, but what a pair of pieces. They're just totally impressive. Seems like they're best friends, right? They're helping each other a lot. Like Morphy used to say, right? Help your pieces, and they will help you. We've helped our pieces by placing them correctly, and they'll be helping us by winning the game. The only way to defend this point, I'm sure you're thinking of it. Obviously, it can't be the bishop because it's attacked by 2 pieces and only defended by 1. The only move, knight to a6. And let's look at something. This knight is very well placed, while the opponent's is very poorly placed. Where, or rather with which piece can they kick out this bishop? Well, notice that because of this knight, they can't kick it out. And so it's very well placed. And where can the opponent's knight go? Well, look, it's running out of squares to go to, because it can't come through here, because we'd simply capture with the help of our other bishop and win the rook on top of that. And so it doesn't seem like it can go this way either. Why? Because we'd simply come here and it can't move, and at some point we could kick it out. So this knight can't go absolutely anywhere. So here, how should we continue? Because of course, notice one thing, we're not attacking anything. Yes, we're very well placed, but we're no longer attacking anything thanks to their knight. Well, we're simply going to play c3, and now we really are cutting off this knight completely. It can't come here, and it can't come here. In this way, we're controlling all the squares with the bishop and the knight, and we're greatly restricting our opponent's position. Notice that now our opponent has few things to do, but the only logical one is to try to kick this knight out of here, and the only piece that can do it is bishop d7. This bishop wants to trade itself for this knight in a very logical way, because this knight is a headache for him. I guess you all understand that. But we have no problem here letting them capture us. We're going to play a4 to reinforce this point. And if they capture this knight, it doesn't worry us at all, because when they capture, we'll simply come in very strong with the bishop. Look at what a powerful check to the enemy king. Now, the black pieces don't have much to protect themselves with. Notice that moving the king would be a disaster, placing the queen even more so. The only move is to bring the knight, and they're already falling behind even more. This knight is pinned. This knight can't go anywhere. Now it can go here, but not there. But we'll see what happens when it comes over here. Don't worry, because notice that when this knight moves back, we now have an ideal plan. What we're going to do is bring this knight out from here. Notice that you shouldn't learn this by heart. Well, you can if you want, but it's not necessary. Simply put, we're applying pressure. What's the idea behind bringing the knight here? Jump here and put totally spectacular pressure on the knight that's pinned by our bishop. So here, the most logical move for the black pieces, right, is this one. I'm sure you're thinking of it too. Forgive me if I'm going too fast, okay? I don't want the video to drag on forever. It's better if you watch it as many times as needed, all right? And then, since YouTube is free, you can save it and watch it as many times as you need, okay? Notice one thing, the most logical move, right? Coming here with the knight, now that it can, and on top of that, it attacks this bishop here. But this is a mistake, because all we have to do is eliminate this knight with the bishop. True, it's a normal everyday piece exchange, but now, what does this piece exchange allow us? That this bishop isn't under attack, and so now we have a super strong attack for ourselves. We jump with the knight, and notice that here, the black pieces can't defend against this tremendous attack. It's a very simple attack. All we've done, notice one thing, is place our knight and our bishop first. Just our bishop and our knight that jumped over here. They've tried to blow everything up. Simply, we've come in with more pieces, with the other bishop and the other knight. And now this pin is just too strong. What are we threatening now? Well, bishop takes, check, and they couldn't capture with the queen because we'd recapture it. Whatever they do here, they're going to lose material. Notice. How interesting. Very well, and wait, because the best is yet to come. For example, they play knight f6. We threaten to play e4. You know, the order doesn't matter. They play d5 to avoid this e4, and we come in with the bishop. These three moves that bring us so much joy. And many of you will be thinking, let's see, chess teacher, if all we're threatening here and your whole attack is based on placing the knight here, explain to me what happens if they just play this and the whole attack is over. My whole plan has already gone down the drain. How can I continue? Take it easy, okay? Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to play, even if they don't let you make this attack. It's very simple, very, very simple. We play e3, all right? Very simple. You see it, right? Simply, we continue with the previous ideas. e3, and now what? Well, they can play e6. We don't care, because we're going to continue with our development. Knight to f3. It's very likely that they'll move this bishop. Notice one thing. Does bishop to d6 worry us? It wouldn't worry us at all. Why? Because they're trying to trade these bishops, which doesn't bother us, because by capturing them, we'd create two super strong pawns. It's true that this one would be doubled, but we wouldn't mind, because look at what a great square we'd have right here. The moment they want to kick it out with a knight, knight takes, pawn takes, and this would already be totally impressive for us. That's why I'm telling you, it doesn't bother us at all if they bring the bishop over here. If they come this way, we'd simply bring the bishop out and keep developing. If they trade, all the better for us. If not, we castle and all that. It doesn't worry us. If they play bishop to e7, honestly, it's a waste of time. Why? Because black here, to free themselves, must always, always, always play c5. In case you don't know, I'll explain it. In a double queen's pawn, the move that unbalances the center is always c5, okay? If they don't play c5, black is going to be at a disadvantage. Perfect. So if they're going to play c5, this bishop was a waste of time, because in the trades, notice it didn't matter if they took from here or from here. That's why if they play bishop to e7 against you, it's a waste of time. And if they play c5 directly, which seems like the most normal thing in the world, how should we act? Now, this move is much more interesting, because we can't play bishop to d3 right away, since they push. And this bishop would have to move off the diagonal we want it on. And then we'd be losing a super valuable tempo. Besides, we'd be letting the opponent expand naturally. If you've seen any videos on the Kali system, you know that whenever they play c5, we should play c3 to leave this space for the king. Don't worry, if you haven't seen it, it doesn't matter at all. The only thing you need to worry about is if they play c5, you must capture here first. Notice that they have to recapture with the bishop. If it were on e7, they would have lost the tempo. And now, by eliminating this pawn, we play bishop to d3 and get the position we wanted. A position where we have 4 pieces developed while the opponent only has 2. Now, when we place the bishop here, they can keep developing, it's true. We castle. Notice we have a 2-tempo advantage because we're castled, black isn't, and on top of that, they have this undeveloped bishop, they can castle. And now, the star move we should always play when we can't carry out this attack over here, the freeing move, e4. This move is essential, okay? Why? Because we're freeing ourselves from the position, which was very closed with the pawn on e3. And what are we threatening? The key threat is to carry out this attack here, and notice that this would practically be lethal, because now if they move the knight, bishop takes, pawn would come, king takes, the knight would jump in, the queen would come, and it would be checkmate, okay? That's why this threat is now too strong. And here you have several options, to take or even to push. Pushing seems like a very, very interesting option, because now the knight is really bothering us. If we retreat it, we're left in a very passive position, okay? That's why here, I'm proposing the move e5. You attack me, I attack you, right? Sorry if I'm going a bit too fast, okay? Really, I want you to understand it well, but I don't want to waste too much of your time. So, what's happening here? Because you're attacking me, and I'm attacking you. It looks like this. If you haven't studied it, it's very complicated. Well, don't worry, because here you're winning, okay? Look at one thing. If they capture this knight, what should you simply do? Capture theirs instead. That's it. And now, look at this. If they capture here, we capture here. We've lost a flank pawn, which we don't care about at all. They've lost the most important pawn in their position, the one directly protecting the king. And look at this. Pawn takes, pawn takes. If they capture here, we capture here with check. So simply after the exchanges, it would be queen takes and queen takes. We'd have the queen on this great diagonal, and we'd be equal in terms of material, but not equal in terms of position, because we'd be 1,000 times better. They wouldn't have this pawn, we wouldn't have this one. Look at that exchange, and we'd have the queen here directly attacking the open king. So why am I explaining this to you? Because now if they capture here, they'd be losing. But what if they first capture with the queen over here? Which I'm absolutely sure most of you have thought of. Well, here they can already resign it. Indeed, they can already resign. After this move, bishop g5, the queen is completely trapped. Look, this bishop protected by the knight means the queen can't move on this diagonal. And this bishop means she can't come this way at any point. Therefore, this queen is completely trapped. They can already resign. And super importantly, what if instead of pushing, they make the most logical move, which is to capture here? Which piece should we capture with? Importantly, with the knight, okay? No matter how much they can exchange all the pieces, we don't care. Because look, they can even exchange queens, right? We take with this rook, super important. And look at one thing, although at first glance we're totally equal in material, you see it, right? The advantage is enormous. And I'm going to explain why in a very simple way. White is doing great with their pieces, and black is paralyzed. This bishop is the key. It can't come out here because it would be lost to the rook, nor here because of the pawn. And if they decide to push this pawn, they'd lose the knight. That's why this bishop can't get out. If this bishop can't get out, this rook can't get out. Look at this. They're totally paralyzed. They can't do anything. The white advantage is absolutely abysmal. What'd you think of this kind of London system, JOBAVA system, winning in 3 moves? I'd really appreciate it. From the bottom of my heart, if you give it a like. It may not seem like it, but I'm a human being and I have a heart. I love seeing that you enjoy the work I do here every single day, every day. I hope you love it, that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, because that way YouTube will notify you every time I upload a new video. I hope you love this video, just like all the others, and I'll see you in the next one, friends. Goodbye.